What is up, guys? In this video, I want to talk about what my plans are over the next couple of months, because it's definitely not what I typically do. Because usually when I have a surgery or anything happen to where I gain some weight, I usually like to get rid of the fat first while gaining size. So with that being said, I'm going to switch things up a little bit with my approach on what I plan to do the next few months. Like I said, definitely different than what I normally do. A little bit of an experiment because, like I said, I hate the feeling of being fat. So that's why I always get rid of the fat first. And then I really focus and narrow in on gaining size. But I think I might switch it up, at least for a little bit, to really pack on some size and strength. And yeah, because I know for a fact that muscle burns fat, right? We all know that. But I also think that if I could just take a little bit more focus on gaining some size and not so much on losing fat, I'm curious to see what that looks like.
Let me tell him one time, I've been on the grind, this my prime. Let me tell him one time, I've been on the grind, and this my prime. Yeah, I'm sorry for the wait, didn't think I'd come up, y'all just need a little faith. I've been patient, just waiting on the river with an ace.
Literally, pretty much since I got into lifting, I've always taken the get rid of the fat first approach. Long time ago when I first started getting into lifting, I always thought bulking was the answer first, but the biggest issue I had with bulking is I just felt like shit, and I didn't like how I felt, and then I would just fall off track just because when you're eating more calories and you're not seeing results in the mirror when it comes to like your midsection and getting trim in the areas that we want to see trim, it's just very discouraging, and I always found it really hard to stick with working out in general. It's hard to not see results at the beginning. I think we can all agree on that. So I always just said, screw it. I'm not gonna worry so much about bulking anymore. I'm just gonna focus on getting rid of the fat and then gaining some size. And obviously you guys, if you've been following me, you guys see my videos, you probably can agree that that must have not worked out too bad for yourself, because I did gain some serious size and I did feel really amazing. And yeah, it seemed like the answer, which is why I've been doing it for the last, I don't know, 10 years or something. But I think this time around, because honestly, knock on wood, but I think this might be the last time that I have fat on me to the extent that I do right now. So I want to do things a little bit different, because obviously I know I can lose the fat. I've done it 100 times before, and I just want to try something different. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit more of a relaxed approach when it comes to losing the fat and focus a little bit more on gaining size versus losing fat, like I said I did before. So I think it'll be interesting to see what's going to happen, because if I'm focusing more on gaining size, then obviously you guys know that's going to include more calories, more protein, probably some carbs, all that good stuff. So it's not like I didn't have that before. It's just going to be more of it, and the timing of when I have it is going to be a lot different. Before, when I did, hey, let's get rid of the fat first, obviously I never ate carbs really at night. I shouldn't say really. I just avoided carbs completely at night, and then I had a little bit of carbs throughout the day, and then yeah, that was always my biggest approach. And of course, protein obviously was a little bit more strict. I always stuck to white protein, chicken, fish, stuff like that. But this time around, I'm not even sure what I'm gonna have exactly just yet, because like I said, this is a little bit new to me. I'm gonna take a little bit different of approach on how I want to move forward with my results, which is basically, like I said, I'm gonna not focus so much on losing the weight right now, or the fat, I should say. And I'm just gonna focus a little bit more on gaining size. So I'm gonna be having more carbs, more protein, more calories, all that stuff. And like I said, it'll be interesting to see how my body responds to this, because like I said, I've never done this approach before. I haven't, at least in like freaking 10 years. So it'll be really interesting to see what kind of results I get. If what I did worked as good as it did before, I'm curious how it's gonna compare to doing this, because like I said, it's a completely different approach. So yeah, that's my plan. Please know if you guys got questions about what I'm having to eat, I do plan to share more about all that once I have a little bit more of a solidified plan of what exactly my meal plans will look like. I'm not even really sure just yet, but I'm looking forward to switching it up and just doing something different. Because like I said, I always do the same shit when it comes to getting results. I just like to get rid of the fat, but I'm gonna try not to focus so much on that and just deal with the extra pudge for a little bit longer. Because I honestly think that if I gain muscle and I have more protein, calories, and carbs and all that stuff, I still think that I'll either A, maintain the weight, or I'll lose the weight. Probably not as fast, but maybe I will. Maybe I will lose the weight as fast as I did before. Wouldn't that be interesting? So we'll see. But I know for a fact that by doing this, my workouts will be better, if that's even possible, because even before my workouts were insane. My intensity was always on point. That's something that I excel in when it comes to like intensity and all that. I'm always on point when it comes to that. So I've gotten some pretty awesome results, but I'm curious if I can take that same intensity, maybe even have more intensity, because I'm having carbs and all that stuff. You need to have more energy. I'm curious what kind of freaking results I can get when it comes to size. So it'll be really interesting to see what a difference all this makes. And who knows, maybe I'll stay the same weight and that'd be fine with me too. Yeah, that's what's up. And I also think that with what we have coming up in the next couple of months, I think now would be the time to do what I'm doing. Because in the next couple of months, my wife and I are actually starting our next round with IVF. So very nerve-wracking, very nervous, anxious, feeling all the feels with this whole process, because we've been through it before with our first son, our first kid, and it's quite a process. If you guys know anything about IVF, it's very intense. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see like how this all goes down. Hopefully it all goes smoothly and we don't run into any complications. If you guys have been following me, I talked a lot about like our last experience with our first round. It wasn't terrible. Obviously it worked, right? But it wasn't easy. Obviously we had to go through a lot of stuff. My wife had to inject herself with shots and I had to give shots. It's not fun. It sucked, not gonna lie. And then of course, everything worked out. We had him and then he had to go to the NICU. So yeah, it was exciting, but then you're on such a high, and then we found out he had to go to the NICU, and then you lose that high real quick, because it was really difficult to go into the hospital expecting to leave with your son and then come home with an empty car seat. That was very difficult. So definitely don't want to go through that again. And then, of course, you think about it more and you're realizing like, hey, this is his first 3 weeks in the world, because he was in the NICU for 3 weeks, is spent in a glass box around a bunch of strangers separated from his mom. And dad. That's terrible. Can you imagine like being so foreign to somewhere and then you come out and the only thing that you knew was just gone? Like that broke our hearts big time, because we weren't there, and that sucked. Granted, we got there as early as we could and we spent as much time there as we could, but it still didn't feel like enough, because obviously he's just so new to the world and now he's by himself. That killed me. It was terrible. It's very difficult. Did that have an effect on my eating? Oh, hell yeah, it did, obviously. And workout intensity and all that stuff? Yep. Yeah, it was really freaking difficult. Yeah. So here we go. We're gonna do another round. And like I said, I'm praying to God that it goes smoothly and we don't have to go to the NICU. I hope that it works out, and yeah, all that stuff. Yeah, so here we go. I'll follow up with you guys and how everything goes, but we have our first big doctor's appointment actually next week. So it'll be really interesting to see how that goes, because if that doesn't go good, then you got to do this. And if that doesn't go good, then you got to do this. You guys know, if you guys have been through infertility, it's just a never ending of just not knowing what's going to happen. If this happens, okay, then we got to do this. If this happens, okay, then we got to do this. It sucks. It's like a never ending freaking vicious cycle. And I honestly, it would be insane. It would be an insane feeling to finally move past infertility, because we've been going through infertility probably close now to 10 freaking years. We've been going through stuff, just random stuff, because we've done everything under the sun even before we started even thinking about IVF. And I'm not even going to get into that, because that's a whole nother, yeah, We went through a lot. If we could just get this done and everything goes smoothly, I can't even explain how much weight will be lifted off my shoulders just knowing like we have our 2 kids that we wanted, and we can finally, for the first time in 10 years, move on from infertility. I would say that would be just such a cool thing, man. And not only would that be good for obviously our family and our relationship and everything else, work, money, everything, but it would be amazing for my workouts and just eating and everything. Because like I said, do you think infertility didn't affect my eating, my intensity, and the well, I'm gonna take that back. I almost said consistency, but that is one thing that I can say proudly that I stuck with, which is getting the workouts, obviously. Like I said, eating, not so hot some nights. Obviously at the NICU, you don't eat, and then you get home and you just need something quick, and then you gotta get up in frickin' 6 hours or something, 5 hours. I think even one night I got home super late and I got 4 hours, 3 hours of sleep. So it was rough. But yeah, so hopefully everything goes smooth and all this we can move past, and I can really start focusing and narrowing in on like my results and things I need to do with my food, workouts, all of it, man. Like I know I could kick some ass. Before all this infertility stuff happened is when I got amazing results. Shocker, right? Because I didn't have all this stuff going on in my head. So it's no wonder why I got such amazing results. I was just in it mentally all the time. So I'm hoping I can get that back and we can move on from all this, and I can do that. Especially being that I'm doing these videos with you guys, it'd be really cool to finally hit a mark that I haven't hit yet when it comes to like size and all that stuff. So that's all stuff that I plan on doing, and it'll be interesting too because I'm obviously turning 40 years old, and I also want to prove to you guys too that it's never too late to get your dream bod. Because I do have a certain goal that I want to achieve, and if I want to maintain it, great. If not, whatever. But I want to at least get there, and just maybe I want to maintain it. I don't know. Because there's a certain lifestyle that comes with every body type. Remember that. If you're like shooting to be, say, a bodybuilder, you better get ready to eat, because eating will be your life. That's why I don't want to be a bodybuilder, because that's just not a life that I would want to live. So you have to make sure and be realistic when it comes to choosing what kind of body type you want to go for, because you got to remember there's a lifestyle that comes along with that. You got to match up what kind of lifestyle you want with the body. And of course, you want to be happy, so make sure the lifestyle is what you choose first, and then either you accept or don't accept the body that comes along with it. So you can get some pretty amazing ass results, guys, with a normal frickin' lifestyle. One cheat day, a normal lifestyle for me that I can maintain and be happy is eat clean, super clean, 6 days a week, have one cheat day. I'm good with that. And then, of course, if you have vacation, you just do your normal shit. You come back and you make up for it. Or you know you're going on vacation, so you trim down a little bit more so you can afford to gain a little fat over vacation. That's usually the approach that I like to do, because I like to be, who wouldn't want to be super ripped on vacation? So that's usually the approach that I do. But anyways, yeah, so good stuff, man. I'm excited to move on to this next chapter of our lives with just moving past infertility finally after 10 years, and to really focus in on what I need to do to make that happen when it comes to just gaining that size. Because like I said, I'm ready for that lifestyle of just knowing that obviously with the body that I want to have, it's going to require me to eat a lot more food. I know that for a fact. There's going to be a budget that's required to eat that much food. So there's that I got to take in consideration. So don't forget that. If you guys want to be a bodybuilder or whatever, get ready, man, because your grocery bill is going to be massive. There's some cheaper things you can eat, but it's not like it was freaking 10 years ago, I'll tell you that. Eggs used to be cheap. They're not cheap anymore. Nope. Used to eat eggs because they were cheap. Now you can't even afford freaking eggs, man. It's insane prices these days. It's crazy. So yeah, it's gonna hit the budget big time with trying to eat more food, but whatever. I'm gonna plan for it, and I'm gonna make some shit happen, guys. Yeah, hopefully, like I said, everything goes smooth with this next transfer and I can afford food. Because IVF, as you guys know, I'm sure, IVF is extremely expensive. So hopefully that doesn't bog me down and I can start spending some more money on food and really make some results happen. Awesome freaking results. So yeah, excited to share all this good stuff with you guys in the next couple of weeks. And yeah, let's kick some ass. And don't forget, guys, one thing I want to end with, something that I've been meaning to talk about in a few of the last videos, is that it's really sad and it's really unfortunate that a lot of people go through their entire lives never really experiencing that body that they wanted. That's sad, because when I first started just getting into fitness, I just wanted abs. I didn't really care about having, oh my God, like huge and all that. I just wanted to see my abs. If you guys seen my transformation video, I literally said at the beginning, all I wanted to do was just see my abs. And then I got friggin' crazy ass shredded and gained all this mass. And yeah, I did not plan that. I did not think that I would take it to the extent that I did when it came to my results. But what really motivated me to keep doing more and more when it came to food and workout intensity and consistency is just the feeling that came along with it, which is what I'm talking about right now. Some people can go their whole life never knowing what that feeling is like, and that's sad. That's very sad, because I've talked to, like I said, a lot of guys and girls that I just ask them, so you have this body that you say that you want to achieve one day, right? There's always that one day. Have you ever achieved it at least once in your lifetime? And the answer most of the time is no. And that's sad, because I think that most people, when they think about that body that they want to achieve, they think, nah, it would be cool to be that shredded, but I don't need to be like that. I'd be okay with just having a little lines in the midsection. I don't need to look like that. But what they don't know and what they don't realize is that they're giving up on a whole nother side of them that they don't even know exists. Because when you get to a goal or a body, a certain body type, and if it's an awesome physique, I guarantee you, any awesome physique, like when I say awesome, I'm talking about just the body shape being how it should be. I hate to say it, but yeah, we're not meant to be fat. Humans are not meant to be fat. It's not healthy to have fat on you. If you can, and that's what I mean about that bod, right? That's basically what I'm saying. I'm not talking about bodybuilding. I'm talking about just like having natural curves, like normal. Like you should be able to, your waist shouldn't be rubbing on your t-shirt and be tight as your upper chest when it comes to your t-shirt. Like that's not normal. If you can just get to a body type to where you don't have that much fat, if any, you should have some fat, but you guys know what I mean. You're gonna learn real quick that, holy shit, like I look back at how I used to be. I was like not motivated. I didn't do shit. I had no energy. I just was different. I would have never even started this business probably, because I'm just talking in third person, because who knows what can happen. When you guys feel really good, you just feel more energized to take on life and just challenge yourself with other shit, because you said that I want to get to this body, and then you did it. So you accomplished a goal, and then it's like a good feeling, and it makes you think, what else can I do? You know what I mean? So that's what happens. So like I said, what you're gonna learn is that when you achieve that body, is that you're gonna realize there's a whole nother side to you that you haven't even met yet. That's crazy. So my biggest recommendation for anybody would be to meet the true you at least once. At least one time in your lifetime. If you don't like how you feel and you don't like the lifestyle that comes along with it, don't do it then. But I can guarantee that you will love the shit out of it and you will never want to give up that feeling. So if you're one of those people that are saying, I don't really need that body. It'd be cool, but I don't need that. You're losing out on a whole nother side of you that you haven't even met. A side of you that would be able to maybe crush those dreams that you have of owning whatever it is that you want to own, whether it be a freaking house on the ocean or whatever floats your boat, or whatever the dream is, whatever that dream job is. If you could get to that body, I promise you that things can happen a lot easier, and your mindset and your way of thinking and approach to things will be so much more clear on what to do. Like, even the most successful people in the world, some of them say if you want to be successful, get in shape first. Then the rest will work itself out. And honest to God, I 100% believe that fact. Because if you don't have the discipline to do what it takes to get in shape, then obviously you might not have the discipline to achieve whatever goal it is that you're trying to go for. So if you have the discipline to get in shape, eat clean, show up every day, work out, yeah, I'm pretty confident that you could probably do just about anything if you can do that. And honestly, I think that when that happens and you do achieve that goal, you're gonna come to realize that, hey, if I can do that and I did all the things, I stayed disciplined, I showed up every day, I ate good, that's incredible, man. What else can you do? Maybe go for that frickin' dream job that you've always wanted, or whatever it is that you want in life. So that's why they always say, or myself included, get in shape first. The rest will work itself out. I'm gonna end on that. So till the next time, we'll talk to you guys later. And I'm gonna end by saying, stay you. Or if you haven't gotten to the true you, get there. Till the next time, we'll talk to you guys later. Peace.